Sending data. All right, we got Twitch. What do we got? Who's next? Facebook, Kick, and come on, YouTube. We're live. We got all four now. Well, good morning. Happy Wednesday. It is 10 a.m., which means we're live. We're live all over the place. I am very disorganized. It has been a wild weekend. Our city had a big festival that we were a part of, and it's just it's been a mad dash to get things together, and just now live streaming and trying to get back into routine. So if you have any questions about following Jesus, faith, current events, things that the Bible says that are confusing, I'd love to talk about it. I brought water this time. Much needed. Learned my mistake from last time. But yeah, and then our live stream, I guess, had some issues while I was out on Sunday because I was at the festival working our booth. And sorry if anyone tried to tune in live for that. It didn't work out, but we were able to post it, which was great. But we try really, really hard to be live consistently, and that didn't work out, and I'm sorry about that. So yeah, like I said, just getting back into the groove of things. My schedule's already wonky being a pastor because I work on Sundays, and so I needed to work on Friday and Saturday for this festival. Hey, we got our friendly bot. Thank you for tuning in. Getting rid of you there. I had to work on Friday and Saturday, which are typically my days off. And then I actually had to work on Saturday last week too, because we were giving out backpacks to families who needed help with school supplies. And so it was kind of a weird, it's been a weird couple of weeks schedule-wise. And so I think now I'm going to be able to get back into a pretty consistent routine. We don't have any more big events coming up. I can just kind of settle back into work and settle back into our live stream. So thank you guys for being here. If you're interested in connecting online wherever you are, we have this QR code. Oh, nope, wrong side. QR code for just a way that we can connect as Christians online throughout the week. And so, this stream is just to talk about life as a Christian, as a pastor, what the Bible says. And I wanted to jump into just some current events in Christianity today, and just to get us started. So I'm going to share my screen here. And this is what's going on. We have how conservative Christians cracked a 70-year-old law. That's kind of interesting. Ancient Coptic city enhances our understanding of early Christianity in Egypt. That's intriguing. I have to stop using the word interesting. I say interesting for everything. But Christian vision for exercise. I feel like that one popped up last week as well. And then Chip and Joanna Gaines controversy, why evangelical Christians are attacking the HGTV stars. That one sounds like something a little more attention grabbing. Maybe we'll look into that and see what's going on. Okay, so Chip and Joanna Gaines put a gay couple on their new show, and all hell broke loose. Because why wouldn't it, right? I mean, obviously there are very clear and healthy relations between the Christian community and the LGBTQ community. That's sarcasm. All right, let's take a look at what's going on here. Also, thank you for all the ads. Really appreciate this one paragraph of text surrounded by ads. Home renovation. Okay. Christian backlash. They broke their mold. Far-right religious bigots apparently cannot tolerate. Acknowledge the existence of LGBTQ plus people. That's a very funny sentence. Because, LGBTQ people exist. Oh my gosh. Wow. How dare they want their home renovated? Right. Okay, let's see. Modern farmhouse evangelists. That's an interesting term for people. What? Okay. Okay, someone says, I'm a middle-aged straight guy. I know nothing about these people and have never experienced the joy that is watching Joanna Gaines use oversized vintage clocks or old repurposed shutters as wall decor. Help me. Okay. They had a show called Fixer Upper. Looks like they have some spin-off shows. I'm like vaguely familiar. I know the names. I think they have some stuff in like Target, but not super familiar with the show. They popularized farmhouse chic in 2010s. Okay. I'm still not seeing what's going on here. Man, these ads are annoying. Built an empire. And family life. Okay. They're part of an evangelical megachurch. That's already not a great start, in my opinion. I have some hot takes about megachurches, but we'll see. They had never featured a same-sex couple on Fixer Upper, and they got questions if it was church-related. Their pastor preached against gay marriage and in favor of conversion therapy, which, fun fact, not citing a source here, but I believe it's very widely known that conversion therapy doesn't work. And so I think it's statistically done more harm than good. But you can go ahead and fact check me on that, because I don't want to be just like talking out of nothing. Got backlash. Okay. All right. HGTV does not discriminate, but no same-sex couples have appeared on Fixer Upper. Accusations of bigotry, understandably, like I get that. It's an interesting thing when there's a lack of representation. You kind of have to ask questions. I totally get where people are coming from. In 2021, they became tearful when defending claims of anti-LGBTQ bigotry and racism. Oh man, you guys are really stepping in it. Oh my gosh. That's the stuff that really eats my lunch. What? Okay. That's a sentence. Because it's so far from who we really are. That's the stuff that keeps me up. Okay. So they finally have a same-sex couple on their show. I get it. I'm trying to get to the point of this. There's so much fluff in this. There's so much background that I'm not sure is necessary, but maybe is helpful. I don't know. Okay. Chip and Joanna Gaines got same-sex married? What? That is a confusing sentence. What? how do you just start a paragraph with that? Chip and Joanna Gaines got same-sex married. That is confusing. What? Because I believe he's a man and she's a woman, and I believe they're both straight. So I don't know, but ignoring the confusing sentence, because maybe there will be some context. They led a pride parade. They guest judged on Drag Race. No, okay, none of that actually happened. This is confusing writing. What did happen is the couple cast a same-sex couple, Jason and Joe, on their new show, Back to the Frontier. Okay, their new show, completely different show now. Wow, okay, we're trying to follow the threads. Dubbed a social experiment. Spent the summer living as if they were back in the 1880s. Okay. Who's... Oh, okay, Hannah. All right. Hannah advertised with a... Okay, the show advertised with a gay couple. And so they went on the show. So they were asking for LGBTQ couples, and they found an LGBTQ couple. What is... Okay. So obviously the network is trying. I don't know. I don't know if trying is the right word. But they're at least doing something. They got the backlash. They're at least years later. They're okay. I don't know what's going on, but yeah. Sandy chiming in on YouTube. Why are they writing this article in such a confusing way? I don't know. Maybe I'm just bad at reading. That's entirely possible. Okay. Yeah. So now, okay. It looks like we're getting to the controversy, which is what we were trying to get to. So we have a lot of history so far about how there was potentially some discrimination against same-sex couples, but now they are actively putting a same-sex couple on a show. This is the most dumb controversy that I've heard in a while, but it sounds like evangelical Christians, very right-wing Christians, are getting very upset about this. But so I don't personally understand why this is a controversy. They wanted a same-sex. They advertised using a same-sex couple. They were trying to get same-sex couples on the show. They had some controversy. They're trying to push back a little bit and say, no, there isn't a bias here. And so now things with just one couple have swung the completely opposite direction, just because they wanted to live like it was the 1800s. Okay. Let's see. Franklin Graham, son of Billy Graham, posted his thoughts to X, aka Twitter. Okay. I'm seeing where we're heading. Very disappointing that a gay couple was included on a TV show. Wow. Promoting something that God defines as sin in itself sin. Oh, promoting something that God defines as sin is in itself sin. And of course all the right-wing evangelicals jump on it. Called the Gaines frauds. Described them as Pharisees, publicly parading their false religion in the market. What? Okay, that's... blamed the Gaines' pastor for not shunning their family from the church. Okay, alright, I didn't realize that we were Mormon now. That's... alright. aren't sure why they have reverse course. A view that no Christian should embrace. Wow, this is insane. Okay. This is an insane take. Really. I'll scroll up a little bit. Okay, so obviously the issue of LGBTQ same-sex couples and transgender issues. Speaking in the political sense, not saying okay. Don't misquote me. The issues that surround the LGBTQ community when it comes to faith are very complicated because there's been a lot of very strong views for a very long time. And so we as Christians and people in the LGBTQ community are both walking into a conversation that's been happening for a very long time that has had very strong lines drawn in the sand. And from what I know, it's pretty much been Christians drawing the line in the sand and creating this black and white mentality of us versus them. And I think we see that in this article where all of these Christian leaders are jumping on these TV hosts who are Christian, but also have to work with their network on things, and they have a same-sex couple on their show. So I don't know exactly if it was Chip and Joanna Gaines who were saying that, yes, let's bring a same-sex couple on, or if it was the network. I don't know what's going on. I doubt that these people know what's going on. I think they just see a same-sex couple next to a Christian couple, and they have a problem with that. And I think that's dumb. And I'm sure I could say that in a much more eloquent way. But without even going into this, some of the things that these people are saying, that God very clearly designates it as a sin, that this is a view that no Christian should embrace, that they are frauds, that they should be shunned, that this is false religion. Okay, without going into all of the very heavily biased views on what the Bible says about LGBTQ, the LGBTQ community and same-sex marriage. This is just not how to act as a Christian. And I think a lot of these Christian leaders gain a large following because of the hard lines that they draw in the sand. It works very similar to politics, where if you want to swing people one way or the other, you draw very distinct lines in the sand where if you believe this, then you also need to believe this, and this. And kind of grouping very large issues together to then create this us versus them mentality. It's very manipulative. I don't like it. I don't like it in politics. I really don't like it in religion because I think it gives a bad name to Christians who either A, believe something else, B, are unsure of what to believe and are still figuring that out, and C, Christians who believe that focusing so heavily on secondary issues that don't pertain to what Jesus called us to and who Jesus is and what it means to follow Jesus. Like people who don't care about secondary issues as much as people who are drawing the lines in the sand. And so it's it's just really not helpful in any way. I like the way that the article started. I'm going to scroll back up and see if I can find it. Yeah. They broke their traditional mold, however slightly, by doing something that far-right religious bigots apparently cannot tolerate, acknowledging the existence of LGBTQ plus people. People exist. There's a whole community of people that exist, that identify with this category of people who are not straight, not cis, one or the other or both. And like this category of people exists. And it's honestly stupid to feel like, oh no, there's a gay couple on my TV. What? Like even the religious background of the hosts aside, like this is not an uncommon thing. Like I'm gonna get this ad off of the screen. Like this is not new. This is not. It should not be controversial that the fact that there is a gay couple on TV. Gay people are on TV all the time, and I also hope that I'm not using the term gay presumptively, but I believe it was two men, Jason Hanna and Joe Riggs. But of course, I don't know what their backgrounds are. I don't know what specifically, like I'm just reading the article, but they are obviously members of the LGBTQ community based off of this. Dave is chiming in on Facebook. As a Christian, I'm called to love God and to love others, and these are the greatest commandments. Yeah, that's a really great point. Like all of these secondary things aside, no matter what you believe is like the most definitive and clear thing in the Bible, or whether you believe that there's a little more nuance in the translations, and of course we don't have the oldest manuscripts of things. There's a lot of different views that can be held when it comes to things like this. And so without going into all of them, I like what you said. Like Jesus calls us to love God and to love people. And that is the commandment that he says when he's asked what is the greatest commandment. That is the greatest commandment. And so I actually put together a little chart. I did a little chart on the last stream and I liked that, so I did another chart. This is something that I talked about with my boss and fellow pastor on a podcast called Not Safe for Sunday School. And we talked during Pride Month last year about the relationship between Christians and the LGBTQ community, and there's overlap with those things. And so this is the common evangelical perspective on LGBTQ plus individuals. Again, this is not my personal view. This is just what I am observing the societal view is in America. If you are Christian and you are straight and cisgendered, then you're fine. And that's where the evangelical community wants you to be. If you are straight and cisgendered and not a Christian, then there's kind of two views that are held. Either we don't really care, we're going to do our thing and you do your thing, or you need to repent or you're going to hell. And essentially, the common way of saying it is like you need fire insurance. And I even talked to someone this weekend who was walking around in our local festival and had a sign and was one of the people who was preaching about hell. And it was not great in itself, and also not great because he was doing it right in front of our church booth. And we have very different messages that we are trying to send to people. And so I needed to have a conversation with the guy, like, hey, can you please keep moving? And tried to be as loving as possible about it. But definitely more of a angry face person that's like, you need to believe what I believe, or you are going to be tortured for eternity. And that's not good. And it's shocking that I need to say that that is not a good perspective to be held. Like, where are we as a society if we need to say that casting judgment on people that we don't know and saying that they are subject to eternal torment because they happen to walk by us on the street? It's just not, it's not good. Why do I need to say that that's not good? But I need to say it. Apparently I need to say it. And I need to keep saying it a lot. And so the other perspective for people who aren't Christians is if they are also a part of the LGBTQ community, the common evangelical perspective is just angry. And that's not very loving of our neighbors, right? That is just saying, oh, wow, you're double bad. You don't believe what I believe, and you are identifying with a group of people that is counter to what I identify as. And so just because people exist who are different from us, you're angry? Okay. I don't get it. I don't understand, because that is not in the Bible. Like, you may claim it is, but it's not. It's not in the Bible to spread hate to people who are different than us. Actually, the opposite is true. And then the final category is people who are LGBTQ who are also Christians. And that makes the common evangelical right-wing person very angry. And so I just put a lot of angry faces there because you believe what I believe, but you're different than me. And there's no room for nuance of, well, there's different views of what the Bible says. There's different ways to interpret it. There's a literal translation. There's a broader context. There's historical things. There's translation things. I'm not saying one way or the other what's right and what's wrong for the purposes of this conversation. I'm just saying that there's a lot of different views, and a lot of really smart people have not agreed on what that is because we don't have the oldest manuscripts. And there's a lot of ways that things can be translated differently depending on how you're reading it. Not to mention that the Bible was written in the Middle East and we are in America, and the Bible was written in the first century, or at least the things that went into the Bible were written at the most at the most recent in the first century, and we are in the 21st century. So we have at least 2,000 years separating. When we look at when the Old Testament was written, then we have probably 4,000 years separating. And so there's a lot of room for things to mean different things, and biblical scholars do not have a unified view on what certain passages mean. So the fact that straight cisgendered Christians are upset that there are Christians who take different views on certain passages, it's just completely counterintuitive to what God calls us to what Jesus literally says about loving our neighbor. So I also drew up another chart. You can probably see the little thumbnail. But this is what I would like to say is the ideal evangelical perspective on LGBTQ plus people, issues, etc. And that is, like you said, love your neighbor. Oh my gosh, what a radical concept. If someone is straight and cis and is a Christian, we should love them. Despite all of their flaws, because we all have things that we need to work on, right? We're not narrowing things down to one specific issue and saying that that's the problem. Like, there's lots of problems with humanity if you believe that that's a problem. Again, there's people who don't believe that that's a problem. And I'm not here to give a perspective on that. I'm here to say, love your neighbor. And I don't know how many times I need to say that, but if someone is a Christian and they're in the LGBTQ community, that's okay. If you have a different perspective on things, then that's fine, right? It's not core. There's only like 10 things that really make a Christian, and everything else is kind of like a secondary issue that, like, there are many different perspectives that can be held. So just love your neighbor, right? It's good for you to hear different perspectives. It's good for us to not listen to the same pastor over and over and over again, because they're probably going to just be sharing their theology, which, like, again, is not bad. Listen to your pastor. Also fact check your pastors. But then also listen to other Christian perspectives on things, because you might learn something. You might grow. Oh no, we're growing as Christians. How dare we? Sorry, I'm getting a little heated. But if someone is straight and cisgendered and not a Christian, love them. Love your neighbor, right? Don't try to sell them fire insurance. Don't try to convert them. It's just so hateful. Just share. Be honest about your story. If you're a Christian, be honest about what God has done in your life. And that's okay. No one can take away your perspective on things. And you shouldn't try to take away the perspectives of others. And if they are, at some point in their life, going to come to follow Jesus, it's not going to be because you debated them or you convinced them. It's going to be because you were a positive Christian influence in their life, and they'll be able to tell from your story that something is different. And that's the thing that persuades people. They see that something is different. They're not argued into heaven. That's not a thing. It does more harm than good. And then if someone is LGBTQ and is not a Christian, right, to kind of round out our chart here, like, we should love them. Love your neighbor. Like, every category, if you haven't gotten it so far, is love your neighbor. And so it's just, they don't, there's, if you believe that being a part of the LGBTQ community is a sin because of your Christian values, you cannot go to someone who does not have those same Christian values, has not decided to live by the same rules that you have, rules, so to speak, assuming that that is the one of the rules. You cannot go to them and say, you need to follow my rules that you have not agreed to follow. That does not make any sense. And so, just love your neighbor. Oh my gosh. And you know what? If someone moves from the non-Christian LGBTQ category into the Christian LGBTQ category, then you know what? That's a win. And like, that is someone coming to know Jesus. And someone who is straight and not a Christian who becomes a Christian, that's a win. Because there are churches out there who have stances on LGBTQ plus issues that are different from other churches. And so, yeah, in a church like ours, people who are a part of the LGBTQ community are welcome here on Sundays. And like, we are a non-denominational church. We're not beholden to any issue, and we're definitely not going to say you can't come into our church. there are obviously churches based off of this article. Nope, this article that I would not recommend going to if you are a part of the LGBTQ community. And there are other churches who kind of swing in the other direction, and they cater heavily to people in the LGBTQ community. And I think that's good. I think there should be churches with different perspectives that care for different people. What is not good is for us to be attacking other Christians who are reaching out to those communities. And it doesn't have to be the LGBTQ community, right? It can be communities that are reaching out to a wide variety of demographics of people from different backgrounds, different religions, different countries. Like, we are meant to go and tell people about Jesus. And it's not about converting them. It's about sharing our story and sharing God's story. It doesn't have to be this difficult. And so it's just baffling to me when we have these mega church pastors and church leaders and really hard stance right-wing people that, like, they believe in Jesus and in God so passionately, and they miss the point of loving your neighbor. It just does not make sense to me. So I don't know if you can resonate with that, but I'm going to move on now because this is a very hot topic issue. And I think that's a good place to kind of let things rest for now. But if you have any questions about the Bible or anything that's confusing or especially confusing about something that I said that needs clarification, please drop it in the chat. Let me know. I'm here to talk about it. That's what I'm here for. And I made sure to bring water this time. I did not bring water last time. We had some good chats in the last stream about a lot of different theological issues. And I ran out of water. See, as a... I'll go to the webcam. But as a zillennial, I definitely resonate with the millennial multiple drinks at the desk setup. I think it makes a lot of sense. I have my hydrating fun flavor drink, and then I have my mug here that just has standard classic water, and then I also have my coffee. So it's like I have my hydration, I have my energy, and I have my fun drink. And I just kind of keep switching back and forth. Well, how are you guys doing? What do you guys have going on in life? While I look through some of these articles and see what else is going on in the world of Christianity. Let's see. Quality Christian Music 2025. 15 artists to watch. Interesting. From the Gospel Coalition. Let's see. Let's command plus. Ah, there we go. Got to get rid of those ads. Okay. 15 artists. Austin Joyce. I don't know how to say this name. I'm not even going to try. Costanza Herrero, Cross Gray, DC3, Delaney Young, Delma. I don't know any of the. Free as a Bird, Geo. Yeah, I don't know any of them. Strings and Heart. Actually, I do know them. I know one. Oh my gosh. It's probably a good sign that I don't know them. My music taste is a little outdated. But Strings and Heart, I definitely recommend this band. Yes, their hit, Flowers Dressed in Blue, that is on one of my playlists. I love that. I have a few songs on their playlist. On my playlist. Oh my gosh, what am I saying? It's Definitely a little more alternative than the classic Christian rock sort of vibe, which I really like. I like that it breaks the mold a little bit. So I'm really glad that that they're on this list because they're fantastic. Let's see. Ooh, boy, we got a nice little bot on Twitch. We're going to get rid of you there. Sandy says, I'm excited to start a reading plan soon to be more in the Word. Even though I've been a Christian for a long time, I haven't been awesome about consistently reading my Bible. Yeah, no, that's a really challenging thing. That's super valid. Reading the Bible is hard. And I think that more churches and more pastors should be honest about that. This guy that I was talking to at the festival, he was kind of critical of me because I haven't read the whole Bible like cover to cover. I'm actually working, he didn't know this, I'm working on a series on our YouTube page called Through the Bible, where I'm going through the Bible cover to cover. But there is a very strong demographic of Christians that say that you should be reading the Bible in a year, every year. And it's even something that I was taught in seminary, and I was given a reading plan for. And I tried my best. I've tried a few times to read the Bible in a year. This was the first time that I really was pushing for it, and I even had someone that I was doing the reading plan with for some accountability, and it still didn't go well because you have to read like 4 different sets of chapters and verses every day. It's a lot of reading the Bible. And some of us have jobs. Like, we have other things that we need to do to survive in society throughout the day. Like, we need to cook food. We need to do laundry. We need to wash dishes. We have a toddler at home. And so our hands are full. And so, like, there's a lot of really valid reasons to not be the best at reading your Bible consistently. And I will be honest that I also struggle with reading my Bible consistently. And so part of me doing this series is to help me read my Bible consistently. But I think we push ourselves too hard to try to read the Bible in a year every year. And so I put together a reading plan, which hopefully is the one that you're using. It's going to be in our link tree on all of our social pages. But the idea is to read the Bible in 3 years instead of 1 year. And I divided the Bible up into 3 sections, kind of building up to Israel, and then from Israel building up to Jesus, and then from Jesus building up through the letters that Paul and other authors have written, and kind of coming out of the story of Jesus, what that means for us today. And each of those sections have been divided up into 3 more sections, so that essentially every 4 months you have a list of things to read. And it's not divided up arbitrarily. It's divided up by Bible story. And so you'll read through all of the story of Abraham. And then you'll be able to check off that box. And you'll read through the story of Noah and check off that. And the story of Moses coming into Egypt and check off that box. And so we are currently in the book of Exodus on that series, but you can find the link to that sheet. That is the starting point, the foundation of that series, and you can follow along with that Bible reading plan. It's really great. I'm still working on it, still tweaking as I go, because I'll realize like, oh, actually this chapter should go to here versus here, and just because we want to read everything in its context and make it cohesive. And so I am working hard to make sure that we create a Bible reading plan that is not only beneficial to reading the whole Bible, but is actually achievable and doable, and you get to take your time and understand the context of what you're reading. And I think that's more important than rushing through the Bible, because this guy that I was talking to, he was talking about how many times he's read through the Bible and bragging about how many times he's read through it. But it was obvious that he missed the point because of the things that he was saying when he was walking around the festival. And so it's not about how many times you've read it like that. There's no correlation between how many times you've read the Bible and how righteous you are. But I think if you really take your time and understand things, then that's what's most important. And my goal is to read the whole Bible. I just want to make sure that I'm understanding things, Okay, a couple more questions. Question about the reading plan. You made your 1, 2, and 3 in that order intentionally. It's best to read it in that order? Yeah, I would recommend reading it in that order. And each of the headings of that reading plan will tell you like what era you are reading. And so you have things that are pre-Israel, and then you have Israel in the wilderness, and then you have Israel becoming a kingdom. And then I think you're saying you saw the book of Psalms in year 2. You're excited to read those passages, but I'm sure the plan is designed purposely as Psalm after year 1. Yeah. So the reading plan is a guide. If you want to jump to the book of Psalms, that's great. The reason that I laid things out in year 1, year 2, year 3 is because when you get to something like Psalms and Proverbs, the wisdom and poetry literature, it's a different genre, and it's written in a specific time. And so year 1 takes you from Adam and Eve and all of the predecessors to Abraham, all the way from Abraham's family to Moses, and then from Moses into Israel becoming a kingdom. And then when we read things in that chronological order, then the order in our Bibles starts to get a little bit wonky because of how it's grouped. But Israel as a kingdom then goes into exile. And what's really important to know there is that a lot of the wisdom and poetry literature is written or compiled in that time of exile. So something like the book of Proverbs is kind of developed in that time of exile, compiling and trying to preserve the writings of Solomon and of the elders of Israel on what it means to follow Jesus. The Psalms are songs that are written mostly by David, but by a variety of different authors. And they, again, are likely compiled in that time of exile because when you take a look at a group of people who is being oppressed, songs are very important. Songs and stories give you motivation. They give you hope. They let you know that this is not the end, that we as a people are going to make it through this. And so understanding the context, and then even going through, I might even divide things further with the Psalms, because there's songs of praise, there is songs of lament, there is songs that are meant for asking God to protect us from our enemies. There is a lot of different genres of psalms, and then there's psalms that are more theological, about saying this is who God is, this is the character of who God is. So you have to be really careful when reading those things to understand exactly what you're reading. But books of the Bible like those, like the story of Job and the writings in Lamentations and Ecclesiastes. It's you have to understand the context that it's written in, because it's a very difficult time. And so as long as you're looking at the headings of the Bible reading plan in the context of the plan as a whole, then yeah, like go ahead, read it in whatever order. I personally would recommend reading in order once, so that you kind of see the story from start to finish. I intentionally rearranged things from how they're written in our Bibles today to be more chronological, and the actual setting might be a little bit different for some of those, but at least the era that they were written in, the context that they were written in, I tried really hard to make sure that they were happening in chronological order, so that you kind of see the whole picture from start to finish. But if you're able to see that picture, then yeah, like jump around, go to what you're drawn to, especially if you're trying to build a habit, like you're saying, then yeah, like start with what you're going to enjoy. And it might be the things that are more familiar. I think that's why a lot of people haven't read the whole Bible, because we're drawn to specific things that speak to us, and that's okay. And I can resonate with that. I think that's why I haven't read the whole Bible when I've studied it, and when I was going through seminary. It was more about understanding and giving me tools on how to approach different genres of literature, how to read the Bible, and diving deep into some very specific things, rather than, okay, class, let's read the whole Bible. So yeah, you're excited to read in order. Thank you. So helpful. Hey, awesome. I'm glad that I could help. Thank you for your comments and your questions. Yeah. So I think it's very common for people to go back to passages that are that resonate with them, and that's okay. I think the gospel and the Bible, they speak to different people in different ways, and that's good. I don't see a problem with that. Now, me as a pastor, I really want to read and understand the whole Bible, and so that's why I'm taking a little bit longer to do so. And so I've gone through and dotted my I's and crossed my T's in understanding the literature. And so when I read those passages, if I'm studying for a video or a sermon, then I feel like I can speak to things pretty well, because I already have the background knowledge that then I can kind of take and place into what I'm reading. And so I'm not insecure that I haven't read the whole Bible. It is a goal of mine, and I think it's an important goal, and I want to get there as quickly as possible. But I want to understand what I'm reading along the way, and so that's why I'm taking a little bit longer. So I hope that's some encouragement for anyone out there who has not been able to read through their whole Bible, and maybe has encountered some of those similar people that are like, you need to read the entire Bible or else you're not a good Christian. Like, that's not the point. The point is not having a bunch of knowledge about God. It's about following God and living out your faith. Because if you're in a relationship with someone, then you're faithful to them, and you want to do things to show that you care and love about them. Got a comment from Boris on Twitch. Hello, I'm an atheist, but when I visited a church last week for the first time in 5 years, I just sat down and cried. I can't bring myself believing a religion and or God, but I think the idea of having a figure like Jesus in my life praying comforts me. I feel lost and so in between. What should I do? Great question. Number one, thank you for commenting. I really appreciate that, like, personally. I know that typing that out, and especially going to church for the first time in a long time, can be really intimidating. And I was in a similar situation where I had not gone to church for a long time, and I had also a really emotional situation where I walked in and the pastor actually remembered my name. And that was really foundational in setting up the rest of my Christian life, was just the fact that he remembered my name. And so I know it's difficult, like believing in religion and God, and like it's so abstract and sometimes vague, but also feels so important that we need to understand, is there a God? What role does God play in the universe? Like it's a really heavy thing. And so I by no means want you to feel rushed to make any sort of decision of following Jesus. But the fact that you see the benefit of having a figure like Jesus in your life and praying is comforting to you, I think that's a good thing. I think what the world needs is a little more hope, and I think that's the aspect of Christianity that speaks to a lot of people these days. Even if they're outside of the church, if they're an atheist or if they believe something else, like the fact that there's hope for this world is really important. And that's been really important for me, especially with everything that's been going on in our world, with just like tensions rising, and without getting too political, like the fact that there's just huge divides in America right now, in politics. It's stressful, and I take a look at this world, and I don't really know how to navigate it. And I take a look at my daughter, who's almost 2, and I have to wonder, like, what is the world going to be like when she is in my shoes, when she is in her late 20s, and she has to figure out how to navigate this world. Like how much more challenging is it going to be for her? And so the fact that Jesus says that there is hope for us, that everything will be restored to how it was supposed to be, like that is very hopeful for me. And that honestly helps me get out of bed in the morning some days when I'm struggling with my mental health. The fact that Jesus says that this is not how things are supposed to be, but humanity has gotten off track, and one day God wants to set things right and put things back to how they were supposed to be, like that is hopeful for me. And I think a lot of Christians focus so much on heaven and hell as the point of Christianity, when really the point is restoration of things on earth, that heaven is coming down to earth, and that God wanted to be with humans in the Garden of Eden and collaborate on creation together. And then Jesus came down from heaven to be with humanity and be present with humanity and say this is not how things were supposed to be, and there's hope for things to be set right. And then when we look forward, we see that like the metaphorical Jerusalem is going to come down and the presence of God will be with humanity. Like that's the point from beginning to middle to end. The point is that God wants to be with humanity, and he wants things to be good. He doesn't want us to be stressed. He doesn't want us to be hurting. He doesn't want unnecessary war and death and dying. In fact, he doesn't want war or death and dying and sickness and disease at all. And so many things are just symptoms of humanity going our own way on things. And that's what the hope that Jesus brings is to me. And so if you're curious about church, then I hope that you continue to pursue that. And please, like, this is not like I'm speaking directly to you right now, and not to like the whole audience, but like if you want to join our Discord, I will be there, and you can ask questions without any judgments. You can have different views, and that's okay. Like, no one's going to be trying to convert anyone. And if anyone does try to do that, then I will personally step in and make sure that they stop doing that. Because I want to create a community where people can ask questions and explore. But this is just an online solution. And so I want to give you a resource. But if you are comfortable plugging into that church and they are willing and open to have those conversations, like, that is fantastic as well. One of the things that we're really big about here is making sure that people don't feel pressured. Like, you have to come to our church. Our church is the best church, and it's the only right church for following Jesus. Like, that's just not good. If you are comfortable in a church community and you're able to ask questions and explore without judgment, without pressure, then that is fantastic. And that is what I want for you. And so even if this is our only interaction, I'm really glad that we got to talk. And I hope that that is encouraging to you. I'm following now and will be joining on Discord. I feel like just hope itself is what we need sometimes and can change lots of things. Yeah, thank you. No, I really appreciate that. I think I just got the notification that you joined the server. Awesome. No, thank you. I really appreciate that. And I want to say, hey, thanks for joining. I want to give a little emoji here as well. So, hey, that's how you know it's me. Hi, I'm Matt. I realized on the last stream that, like, I didn't say my own name, but also I don't know how to work that into conversation. But yeah, hope is super important. And so if you just want to talk, like, I'm here. Please message. And the Discord is very small right now, but we're building our momentum, and really that's how I prefer it, rather than just having a whole bunch of people who are there for some sort of, I don't know, large scale thing that we're trying to put on. I'd rather just have conversations with people. And so I appreciate you joining the Discord. And yeah, I think a lot of people are in a similar situation where they're seeing that life is difficult. Life is unnecessarily challenging, and it shouldn't be that way. And I think that's exactly what Jesus is trying to tell us in the Bible, is that life shouldn't be this way. It should have been easier. It shouldn't be this hard. So thank you. Means a lot hearing that, especially considering things I've heard as a non-believer. Honestly, I don't doubt it. I don't know where I was going with that sentence, but the number of things that I've heard from the mouths of Christians to people who are not Christians, that just, like, are not helpful is astounding. It's crazy. Again, I'm doing a lot of talking, but, like, it's completely backwards how people approach sharing the gospel. Like, number one, the gospel is not say a prayer and you'll be saved. Number two, the gospel is not fire insurance. Like, believe in God or he's going to send you to hell. Number three, the gospel is not like a step-by-step program of here's how you get to heaven. And number four, the gospel is not a debate. The gospel is not about having all the right answers. It's about sharing your story. And I know that God has worked in my life. And I can see very visible ways that, like, I have experienced God doing something in my life where my way was not working out, and God intervened, and he showed me a better way, a way that was healthy, and full of joy, even through the hard times. And to say that like someone is wrong for not having experienced that is not helpful. And so I'm sorry. I don't know what things people have said to you, but I personally apologize on behalf of Christians, because, like I said, the things that I've heard Christians say have been, at best, not helpful, and at worst, harmful. And it's just so difficult. I think Christians have a lot of makeup work to do, so to speak, before we can actually start to be open about what we believe again, because Christianity has a record of being very hateful and very, I mean, just like in the article that we were reading before, just like very black and white, drawing lines in the sand, not helpful. And so it makes me sad for the people who call themselves Christians who are missing the point. And it makes me angry for the people who are on the receiving end of what they're saying, because it's not just and it's not righteous to be spreading hate. It's entirely counterintuitive to what Jesus calls us to. And like Dave commented earlier, like the point is loving our neighbor. Jesus doesn't give a list of qualifiers after it. Love your neighbor if. Really, he says, if you see someone and they are in need, that person is your neighbor, and go help them. Go love your neighbor. If someone disagrees with you, love your neighbor. It doesn't matter. Like, he explicitly says those things. He says the opposite of what a lot of people believe. And it makes me sad for the people who miss the point, and it makes me angry for the people that they've hurt. So that is my view. That is my elevator pitch for why Christianity needs help, and also part of why I'm doing these streams, because I don't think enough Christian leaders are putting themselves out there in a vulnerable way. I think plenty of people will hop on social media and spread their opinions, but they're not really open to actually hearing feedback or having conversations, and that's just not good at all. So, a little tangent there. That's fine. That's actually the point of the stream, and the real tangent is just like this stuff that I'm going through. But Strings and Heart, great band, love them. Yeah, everyone has an opinion, but only few want to hear back. Yeah, so I'm trying to break the mold a little bit, and just try to be a positive Christian, not even Christian influence, but just a positive Christian person who is willing to just have conversation and admit when Christians are not doing a good job at being Christ-like. It's just, oh man, like if that's the least that I can do here, like on my time on earth before I die, is just to be able to say that not 100% of Christians have bigoted, prejudiced, bad intentions, then like that's a win for me. Like, if I can just be someone who can apologize on behalf of those people, like that's all I want to do. So I don't know any of these bands except for Strings and Heart, and I highly recommend them, but it's either a good thing or a bad thing that I don't know them, because I try to opt out of a lot of Christian contemporary music, because I feel like it's sometimes shallow, or sometimes sends a bad message. also has to do with my issues of mega churches and things like that. But again, that's probably a whole different video. But let's see. 2024 list. Yeah, I don't know any of these. I feel like I could do a stream at some point with our worship pastor, and he would know a lot more of these names. But yeah, if Strings and Heart is on this list, then it does give me hope for this article and the rest of these. That hopefully it's more positive indie music and less mega churchy, same formula worship routine sort of stuff. So let's see. I think we saw that one already. The Christian backlash taking hold. It's New York Times. I think the last time New York Times wouldn't let us read the article. Yeah, okay. I'm going to sign up later. When I'm off stream, I'm going to sign up for a New York Times account. And that way we can read these articles. But not right now. Because I'm not trying to dox my login information. Let's see. Oh, you know what I could do is actually I'll switch over to the webcam here, and then I will sign up. Okay, and then I need to create a password. Let's see. I gotta go, but thank you so much. Checking it again. Yeah, no, thank you. I will be here for probably just another 15 minutes, but we're live doing this every Wednesday, and then also for church on Sundays, and I'm frequently popping in to chat on there as well. So thank you for tuning in and joining the Discord. I really appreciate your comments, and I hope that this was a positive experience for you. So I am going to continue signing up for the New York Times so that we can read some of these articles. All right. I do not want to set that up. Awesome. I'm glad you had a good experience. Have a good day. Thank you. I appreciate you joining. All right. I have free access to stories, apparently. So, now that that's set up, hey, here we go. All right. President Trump, Mike Johnson. Okay. Mike Johnson posted a Bible verse on his social media for Paul's second letter to the church in Corinth. It read, "All this is from God who reconciled us to himself through Christ and gave us a ministry of reconciliation." Don't like this. Don't like where this is headed. Using the Bible out of context for your own 21st century bill. Soli Deo Gloria, which is Latin for glory to God alone. Okay. What is this domestic policy bill? This is the one for Americans losing health care. Wow. Oh my God. This is, oh gosh. Okay. Okay, I have very strong feelings about this that I'm going to try to have cohesive and coherent thoughts right now, not just weird grunting noises. Yeah, consider that the apostle was referring to sharing the good news about Jesus and the chance to be reconciled to God. Wow, maybe that's an accurate reading of the text in its context. Maybe it's not about, I don't even know, this is two different, adjacent definitions of reconciliation, but it's different enough that it is different. and also like definitely being used out of its context. Like God is reconciling people to himself, and it sounds like this is reconciliation of like getting back to like filtering out people from their health care. Like it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I'm upset. I need fun drink. It's just water with a watermelon flavor to it, which is kind of ironic, but great. Yeah, there's been a lot of religious references in the Trump administration that I'm not a fan of, because politics aside, I don't like the Bible being taken out of context. And it has been. And so no matter what your political stance is, from someone who is a part of a church that teaches from the Bible, I will say that twisting the words of the Bible is bad. And again, it seems to be the theme of this stream. I don't know why I need to keep saying this, but I continuously need to keep saying it, that like taking the Bible out of its context to serve your own agenda is wrong and bad. Okay. Yeah. Dehumanization of migrants and policies that favor the wealthy at the expense of the poor. That seems to be a theme, and I don't like that is a theme, because I think we should be caring for the for people who have immigrated and people who are poor, and for people who need social help and health care. Like, it should not be a radical idea that we should love our neighbors, guys. Like, what is... Okay, yeah, no, they position themselves as a defender of Christianity, while engages in merely symbolic gestures like posting Bible verses or publicizing worship services in the White House. Yes, it's all a show. The book of Ezra has some very powerful stuff to say about this. He says, "I despise your burnt offerings and your worship gatherings." Like, it is shallow. It is purely symbolic. It is empty. It is just for show. It's frustrating. I'm frustrated. Hi, for the person who just joined the chat. I'm gonna try saying your name. Tohu Wabohu. Hello. You came at a very fun time where we're checking out this article about Christianity and politics, and how the Bible is being twisted. But if you have any questions about faith, about the Bible, I'm a Christian pastor. Hi, my name is Matt, and not bad pronunciation. Thank you. I tried. I at least made an effort. I don't like pronouncing things wrong, and I'm also not good at pronouncing things. So thank you. I'm trying my best. We're just chatting about Christianity in the 21st century, and there's a lot of intricate things that that go into that. But if you have any questions or comments, feel free. Let me know. Oh no. Border protection recruitment video. Whom shall I... Oh, God. Oh, no. No. This... Would have been impressed if you had known that phrase. It sounds familiar. I don't know what it's from. I'm sorry. God asking the prophet, whom shall I send? The prophet volunteers to go in the name of the Lord to do his work. Yeah. You got to stop co-opting Bible passages. Like, this is... You're taking it out of its context, doing more harm than good. Genesis 1:2. Oh, that's where. Yeah, no, that I'm getting it now. That's from, I heard it from a Bible Project video. Let's see. It's Tohu Wabohu. It is I'm trying to remember before I look it up. It is that the word that is for chaos? I do not know. All right. You can see I just unsubscribed from a lot of emails. Let me go here. Let's see. Oh, did I get it? Hey, I got it. Yes, it's a German word too. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, tohu wabohu is or tovu. I don't know the pronunciation very well, but now I'm excited, and so I'm going to Blue Letter Bible, and we're going to look at Genesis 1 verse 2. All right, let's see how this looks on the stream. This is my favorite site for looking into the original language and understanding. Okay, yeah, Genesis 1:2. Yeah. Formless and void. Tobu. Yeah. That's good stuff. Okay. Formless and void. Let's. Oh. Yeah. Can we click on phrase? What do you mean? You're the one who offered me the click. Let's try this one. Okay. Yeah. No, very cool. Very cool. Sorry, I'm getting distracted here. I get very excited when it comes to stuff like this, but let's see. Oh, this is the original word. Okay, anyway, sorry. I'm getting so distracted right now. I love looking at phrases from I lost my there. Okay, there we go. At ancient Hebrew phrases. I actually enjoyed my Hebrew class more than my Greek class in seminary. It was great. Okay. Yeah, so we're taking Bible verses out of their context. Probably a nice break from U.S. politics. Yep. Yeah. I'm trying really hard to not get political, because that's not what I'm trying to achieve right now. I do have my political opinions on things. I'm trying to keep it just about the Bible and say that, like, taking the Bible out of context for political gain is bad. And so whether you are a Democrat or a Republican or somewhere in between, it is not good to take the Bible out of its context. You don't think the Bible is political? I do think the Bible is political. I think that Jesus talks directly about things. I think Paul talks about some things. We talked about it a little bit on our last stream. The Bible is definitely comments on politics, but it does not favor one side or the other, because 21st century American politics did not exist at the time, and the Bible was not written for that purpose, and so we need to be careful about the intermingling of faith and politics. Yeah, it's challenging. It's a challenge, and one that I think we need to take a little more seriously, because I think we end up with stuff like this where the Bible is being taken out of context for political gain, when really when Jesus talks about politics, it's more about like, do what you have to do to have a functioning society. Just understand that God is above all of it, and God is not beholden to man-made political structures, if that makes sense. That was a lot of talking. But so like things like this: defend the weak and the fatherless, uphold the cause of the poor and needy. Like, it's very clear, like, and you can develop political stances out of that, but like, the Bible is trying to say, like, just do the thing. Like, it's not trying to say this is the correct political party, if that makes sense. Okay. Okay, yeah. This religion as ornament, not the tree. Yeah, this is garbage. This is I really despise when the Bible is taken out of its context, especially for political gain, because it's used as like a hammer, as like, well, the Bible says. And you can't contradict the Bible because that is God's word. And it's like, okay, well, maybe try understanding what God is saying first before you do all that. But let's see. Is there anything? I think this is just sad and irritating. And it just goes into more politics. Yeah. So, faith and politics, we got to be careful mixing those things. Ultimately, when it comes down to a lot of this stuff, love your neighbor. Don't take the Bible out of its context. Don't push the Bible on people. That's kind of been the theme of this stream. But if you are interested in chatting more about stuff, you can go ahead and join our Discord, where we can chat throughout the week from wherever you are. And we will be doing streams like this on Wednesdays, and our Sunday morning church gathering will be streamed as well. And we'll also have some time where we can just chat. And so really appreciate you guys tuning in, and I hope that you guys stick around. So please follow the links in our link tree in the description, wherever it is, and hope to see you guys